Yes.
Well, part of your job, you said, is to help people out. And I think something that was interesting that's happened in the last couple of months is the Memorial Stadium survey that went out, where, the best way to help them is to hear from them. And to kind of go over some of the initial results here, and this is just high level stuff on this first slide, but the surveys completed were almost 22,000, which were about 10% of the 222,000 sent out. Median age was 45 to 54. The median income was 100,000 to 150,000. 79% of the responses were from people within 150 miles or less of Lincoln. And as far as areas where Memorial Stadium is currently overperforming, sound system quality, covered seating availability, scoreboards, and video boards. Areas of underperforming are parking access, convenience of purchasing concessions, and stadium exit process. And the last thing I added on this one, and it was really just because of the percentage, the element that could be most enhanced was seat comfort, 77%. And the number two option, which I can't remember what it was, but it was at 24. So there was a large drop off between seat comfort and whatever the next one is. But I guess, Tyler, as you see that, is there anything that jumps off the page when you see those results, or any surprises?
I think we were pleased with the results when it comes to the amount of people that took the time to fill it out. So thank you for anyone who did that. It was a lengthy survey. We tried to be as detailed and comprehensive as we possibly could, and we utilized an industry standard group to help compile the questionnaire as well as provide some analysis for us. So that was first and foremost. I think we were very happy that 21,000, 22,000 people filled it out. Outside of that, it was good to put numbers to trends we had thought were occurring, right? It wasn't a surprise really to any of us that seat comfort was a hot button issue and that there's something that we need to do to address seat comfort. Anyone who sat in Memorial Stadium on a bleacher seat recognizes that they probably haven't had always the best experience when they sit on one of those bleacher seats packed in with 90,000 other people. So, maybe not necessarily something that was terribly surprising, but something that we were glad to see matched our suspicion. When it came to also I think there was another slide in the presentation as well that was talking about those that traveled from outside of 150 miles too. There was obviously a taper off. Most people are traveling from within the 150 miles, but then when you look at Western Nebraska, people coming from Scottsbluff, we have a lot of folks that are coming from further distances. There's a lot of folks that have season tickets in Des Moines and people that have season tickets in New York. I think there's people in North Carolina that have season tickets. So we also recognize that Lincoln and Omaha are a bulk of where a lot of our people are coming, but there are several people that are coming from long distances as well and are dedicated to coming 5, 6, 7 Saturdays every year to the stadium. So as we just evaluate what comes next, because truthfully, we haven't started talking about really what does come next. We wanted to make sure that we gather the information first before making any type of decision on how Memorial Stadium could be modernized or what our fans are even expecting with their experience in Memorial Stadium. This was a critical piece of information for us to then take, analyze, and make good decisions on how we move forward.
Boomer, Rob, do you have any thoughts or questions on the survey up to this point?
Yeah, there were some things I was curious on the survey. I know the median response age was, 45 to 54. How does that compare nationally to other programs? I realize that's who responds, but, the stereotype of a lot of people in the stadium, it's always the blue hairs are in the stadium. I mean, sure. How does a Nebraska fan in the stadium compare to the rest of the country, or at least the Power Five?
Well, it's funny. Whenever I go to national conferences, we all have the oldest fan base. Everyone says that, right? Whether you're at Tennessee or UCLA, everyone's like, our fan base is the oldest. The reality is, I think naturally the fan bases that are buying season tickets are in that same demographic. The way that we look at different generations, younger generations are consuming sports a little bit differently than probably a 45 or 50-year-old would. I think we expected a little bit of that same, a little bit of some correlation between the respondents and that median income. Obviously, folks that are a little bit more established in their life or in their careers are probably making a little bit more money and are buying season tickets and attending. There's also a generational piece here too. I think our average donor and season ticket holder has been involved for over 15 years. So there's a lot of longevity when it comes to our fans. So all of that kind of correlated a little bit. I think that this is not backed in any fact, so don't hold me to this, but I was astounded to see the average, lifetime or years of giving for Huskers as it relates to the other institutions I've worked for, like Tulane, Tennessee, Kansas State, and Iowa State. I think that our fans have been involved for much longer, and have stayed involved for much longer than the average fan base. That may not be surprising to folks, as you know, that tickets are passed down generation to generation. But for me, that is something that was very different than my previous experiences.
Yeah, when you see the team, when they played Iowa last year and they're 3-8, it's the end of the season. The season didn't go the way any of us wanted to, but you're seeing a full crowd. I mean, having been at Tulane and been at K-State and Iowa State and Tennessee, that doesn't happen other places. I know some people sometimes will question the validity of the sellout streak. BS. That's legit. What this fan base continues to show up time and time again, win or loss. I mean, it truly is. I guess we all stick together in all kinds of weather, but that's got to be impressive to see.
Honky, it's unbelievable to me that we have the dedication, the passion, and not only that, but the generosity that we have in our fan base. It is an unbelievable phenomenon that occurs in Memorial Stadium, regardless of the outcome of the game. I'll even go to, what was it, Fordham, that we were up 42-6. And there's still 70,000 people in the stadium clapping, cheering, engaged in the game. That is unusual, right? That is not the norm. You look at places even like Alabama, their student section leaves at halftime, and half their fans are running for the exits at halftime if they go up big. Our fans are dedicated to staying, and I think that is a really impressive characteristic of all of our fans, and something, though, at the same time we cannot take for granted. Because of that reason, Nebraska is different than a lot of other places. A lot of places have generous support. A lot of places have more donors than we do. We have 17,000. There's some schools that have 24,000. So they have more. But the commitment and dedication that our people have to the Huskers is truly unmatched. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, the ownership that this state and the people here, the alumni, the ownership over the program it's unlike anything I've seen any place else. And when I go to games, that's something that I know I hear from other fan bases when they talk about us there.